Horror pack? What the hell? What are you guys doing to me? Anyway, I just watched Satanic Panic. Not Panic. We'll talk about that in the review. But Satanic Panic. Gonna take a bath immediately after this. Like immediately after this, okay? I already got 1 foot in the freaking the bathtub, okay? Yeah, Satanic Panic. Let's go. Satanic Panic stars Rebecca Romijn, Haley Griffith, Arden Mirren, Ruby Modine, and is directed by Chelsea Stardust. What's up, guys? I think my favorite types of reviews are the ones that are just unplanned because, you know, we try to keep a schedule going. I literally have 2 reviews that are in the can that I still have to edit, but I'm off work today and watched a couple of horror movies that I'm gonna talk about both of them. You know, if there's something that needs to be discussed in a movie, then I will head over to the Evil Lair and I will sit down and I will discuss said movie. And wow, Satanic Panic. Like, this is one of the, like, I didn't know what to expect. It could have been like bargain bin quality material. I don't know, because usually like bargain bin movies, they have the best covers. Is that true? Like when you go to Walmart, I call it the Walmart dumpster fire. Usually the better the cover, the worse the movie. This is an awesome cover, but you know, you do have some big names in here like Rebecca Romijn, Jerry O'Connell's in here. And I really loved Haley Griffith, the main character in this. So this was enough to grab my attention, but also sometimes I'll go on Killer Flicks and I'll just post, hey, yay or nay, is this worth my time? And I'd say like 90% of the people on there say, yeah, this is a yay. You definitely want to check this out. So Killer Flicks, you definitely did me right because this was very interesting. Now, first off, let's talk about this cover real quick because I thought the movie was Panic. I thought it was called Panic, and I'm looking it up on IMDb. Sure enough, long story short, I realized it's Satanic Panic. If you pull the actual Blu-ray up out of the sleeve, it says Satanic Panic. And I guess the story behind that is Walmart, there's certain keywords that they don't want to put on their movies, like I guess satanic. They'll sell guns to you all day, nobody's business. But satanic, they don't want that word on there, okay? I'm not saying I'm satanic or anything, but you know, it's horror, right? And with horror, there's a whole subgenre of movies dealing with, you know, Satan and demonic type stuff. So you can't use the word satanic. That's kind of strange, right? But that's Walmart. Walmart's backwards anyway. Really nice slipcover, but I wish it did say satanic. But anyway, let's dive in. Let's give you a quick plot synopsis. Our main character, Sam, played by Haley Griffith, she works at a pizza joint, and she's going to this other side of town, the rich side of town, you know, because she comes from, yeah, I guess the casual folk. And so she goes over to the rich side of town, and we're talking like mansions, right? And so she just wants to get a tip because she's making like $2 and some change an hour. And so they depend on these tips. And by the way, guys, give some tips, okay? Tip your personnel that serve you food. Take care of them, especially during this time of need. Everybody's doing everything they can to scrape by. And so I always try to make sure I tip extra when I can, all right? So this movie reminded me of that. Over in the rich side of town, sure enough, they are cheapskates. You know, the guy like closes the door in her face, so she lets herself in, goes in there, and they are having this cult gathering.
Are you ready to fully commit yourselves to Satan?
Yes!
Who are you?
I'm the pizza guy. A girl.
Are you by any chance a virgin?
That's a very personal question.
She's a virgin.
So automatically she's a hot commodity amongst them because they want to do this ritual and release this demonic character. And of course they're gonna do this like seance at midnight. And so you can imagine where this story goes, all right? Good thing about this, and I think I figured out something about myself with these types of movies, is I like when they veer into the comedy realm. This is definitely a horror comedy. And there are some side-splitting scenes in this movie. But it's not like a parody, you know? There's still a straightforward story going on here. And there are some pretty intense scenes in this movie. So they don't really let you off the hook when they you know, have to keep it serious. Throughout the movie, it's laced with great characters, really fun moments, and that really just keeps you afloat throughout the whole thing, because when you're dealing with like demonic types of movies, even movies like The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby, those are two of the best. Love those movies dearly, but I can't just throw those movies on any old day. You know, you definitely gotta prep yourself, and I'm gonna watch The Exorcist next Tuesday, okay? So I gotta be ready for that. They're not like, I guess what I would say like Halloween. Like I can throw in like Halloween 4 anytime and enjoy the hell out of it. So really just any slasher, I'm like that. But these types of movies, yeah. But Satanic Panic, because it's a horror comedy, it's a lot more accessible. Now, Haley Griffith, she is our leading lady. This whole movie rides on her shoulders. She is the one that we're rooting for, and boy, are we rooting for her. Like, this is probably one of the most likable damsels in distress that I've ever seen. She's tough, she's resourceful, you know, she's fighting back, and she's kind of a fish out of water because she's, like I said, from another side of town. And so she's in the midst of all these really crazy, loony rich people. And we've seen movies like this before where they kind of villainize the rich, like the mega rich, and maybe there's something behind that whole thing. Why are they this rich? And maybe there's like something evil afoot. And so this plays around with that idea beautifully. And why not throw in a satanic cult? Now there's this character Judy, played by Ruby Modine. Oh my God, talk about a scene stiller. I think in terms of like the writing, she gets the best dialogue. She gets the best lines. You know, she steals the show with a lot of the monologues that she gives along the way. She gives Sam a hard time, makes fun of her throughout the movie. She's just very cocky. And, you know, I love characters like this that you can just have a ball watching. And you love her so much that seeing these two characters together, and they're very different from each other, but quickly you realize that these two could form a very strong bond with each other. You know, you can kind of spot from a mile away when characters are going to be good friends with each other. And these two, I love watching them on the screen together. They're just like magnetic. They're so good that I could take those two out of this movie and make like a spin-off of Satanic Panic and just follow them too. Now, this being a horror comedy, you're gonna have some over-the-top performances, and I mean that in the best way, because when you're dealing with subject matter that's as zany as this, that takes a lot of risks, and boy, let me tell you, this movie definitely takes a lot of risks, especially in the final act. If you think you know where this movie's going, you probably don't, because it sets itself up to be just a straightforward horror comedy for like the first, you know, 2/3 of the movie. But then in the final act, they bear down on the horror stuff and the evil stuff. And some of it can get pretty damn uncomfortable. Like there's a point in the final act where I'm like, wow, they're really going for it. They're shifting gears, you know, and sometimes they do that in movies. They shift gears tonally, and you're like, where are they going with this? You know, I mean, like how far down the rabbit hole, no pun intended, and if you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about, can they go? Now, Rebecca Romijn and her husband, I believe, Jerry O'Connell, are both in this. Jerry O'Connell, not the biggest part, but his scene really stands out. You know, it is one of the better scenes in the movie, too. And it really gets the story going. But Rebecca Romijn plays Danica, and she's the leader of this whole thing. And I like leaders that aren't overly emotional, you know, that are, I guess, well kept and put together. Those are the best leaders. They're just really level-headed, I guess, and that's what she is throughout this. And she's not afraid to put the hammer down and punish if she needs to. And she has all her cult members, and one of the members is kind of challenging her for leadership. The character's name is Gypsy, played by Arden Mirren. Oh my God, another performance that's completely crazy, like bonkers. You know, this is an actress that's not afraid to challenge herself, push boundaries, try different things. I can imagine when they were shooting this movie that they probably tried quite a few different takes, because, I mean, some of these performances are really out there, and most of the time it works just because of the subject matter. And it just makes the movie more memorable and highly entertaining. And lastly, Jeff Daniel Phillips, he's just one of the cult members. I had to mention him because I'm in love with Jeff Daniel Phillips. Everything he does, he's just got this magnetism to him, And for some reason, he even if he doesn't have that many lines, just in his like facial expressions or whatever, he does something to draw attention or even steal the scene. And this movie's no different. This isn't a Jeff Daniel Phillips show, you know. You don't expect to see him running this thing, but I think you'll enjoy some of the moments that he has in this. Now, as far as any cons, I don't think this movie's gonna be for everybody. Okay, like in terms of dealing with a satanic plot, it really goes for the jugular, especially in the last act. And some of the stuff can feel pretty uncomfortable if you are not into like gross out horror, because there are a few scenes in this that involve like vomiting and whatnot. Might not be the movie for you, okay, because they do push some boundaries here. But overall, I did have a blast watching the movie. It was really fun. I think I would have preferred them stay the course with the tone of the movie being a straight up horror comedy, and in terms of comedy being hilarious at times. I think at the end, I wish they would have stayed the course with that theme, because I think they could have finished off the story and still kept that tone. So really, I guess the final act is kind of the weakest part of the movie, but overall, I still love the characters in this. Great protagonist with Haley Griffith, Judy Modine, scene stealer. Yeah, just everybody came to play, you know, and I appreciate that when you watch a movie and every actor is there just being passionate and coming to play and yeah, just delivering. So overall, a purchase worthy for sure. And if you can find the slipcover that actually has Satanic Panic on it, I don't know, that might be worth something, I'm not sure. But it is a beautiful slipcover. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Satanic Panic? Looking forward to hearing them. Also, be sure to come over to Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays, we do Free For All Fridays. Follow me at Drumdums on all my socials. Support me on Patreon. Buy me a coffee. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Drumdum out.